Anderson, and guess what it's time for? It's time to break out the magic wall. John King, you brought your portable magical wall here to Milwaukee.
Not bad, huh?
It's beautiful, and walk us through where the race stands right now.
I think the most striking thing, Jake, is on this first night of the Republican convention, and let me turn this way so you can get a closer look, is just take a look between the then and now. This is the then. This is the 2020 presidential election. This is Joe Biden's overwhelming and convincing win in the Electoral College. Yes, the former president was in the room here tonight. Others in the room here tonight still say this was a rigged or unfair election. That's not true. It's just not true. Joe Biden won, and he won big. That was that, 306 to 232. But this is our current CNN projection of where we are now. And look at this. If Donald Trump won what we have here, dark red states, solid Republican. Light red states, leaning Republican. If he won just those right there, he would already have the path to 270. He would have 272 electoral votes. Look what is different. We have Wisconsin as a toss-up. We have Pennsylvania as a toss-up, two critical states for Joe Biden. Michigan right now, another critical state for Biden, leaning Republican. Georgia, a state Biden flipped, leaning Republican. Arizona, a toss-up state. That was a state Biden flipped. Nevada, a state he won, leaning Republican. This is the dire strait for Joe Biden right now on the first night of the Republican convention. Tomorrow is 16 weeks to Election Day. 16 weeks from tomorrow, we count the votes. It is tough to change a map like this in that amount of time. And here's why Democrats are so worried, why so many Democrats are saying, Mr. President, please reconsider and get out of this race. Because right now, Trump is leading here. And Trump is leading here, narrowly, but he's ahead in those states. Trump is leading here. That's 312 electoral votes. Trump is leading in this Nebraska congressional district. Let me change it that way. Nebraska does it by congressional district. That's 313 electoral votes. And Democrats are warning that Trump may not be well ahead. It may still be margin of error. It might be a tie. But right now, Trump is competitive here. That's blue Virginia. That's blue New Hampshire. So the warnings to the White House are Donald Trump could conceivably, if the current dynamics in the race hold, get 330 or more electoral votes. That's what they believe. Now, if you're a Democrat, if you're in the Biden White House, yes, there are 16 weeks to Election Day. So, can it be done? Come back to this. Can it be done? Yes. But it's a very narrow path for Joe Biden. He must win this. He must change this. Michigan has to go blue, and he must win this. Look at that number. Even if he did that, won the three blue wall states, he's at 269. So he either has to get Arizona or Nevada back or get Georgia back and win the Nebraska congressional district. So Joe Biden has essentially one, maybe two, narrow paths to 270. Donald Trump has so many. There are viable paths to get him as high as 330, which means you can take some states away, Jake, and he would still get to 270. Donald Trump on the first night of his convention, and Democratic people who are studying the data closely say it keeps getting worse for the president. Donald Trump opened his convention tonight in a commanding position in this race, period.
Yeah, and John, stay right there because I want to play some fresh sound from the new vice presidential running mate for Donald Trump, Republican Senator J.D. Vance, talking about the phone call that he got when Donald Trump offered him a spot on the ticket. Take a listen.
He just said, look, I think we've got to go save this country. I think you're the guy who can help me in the best way. You can help me govern. You can help me win. You can help me in some of these Midwestern states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and so forth.
So interesting. We had talked about that earlier. J.D. Vance, son of Ohio, and the ability of him to help with those blue wall states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Western Pennsylvania, a key part of Pennsylvania, a key part of the Commonwealth right across the border from Ohio. And so that's one of the reasons that he was picked, according to J.D. Vance.
You just made an excellent point when you said Western Pennsylvania. This, I think, will be the interesting test case to watch J.D. Vance get on the road, watch where they put him, not just on the ground campaigning, but on television interviews. One of the things a vice presidential nominee does a lot of local television interviews. So let's see how they use J.D. Vance. Let's use your home state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Is J.D. Vance going to flip Allegheny County, where Pittsburgh is, from blue to red? No. No, most unlikely anyway. But does he change the margins? That's the question, right? So you're in a place like this, this Allegheny County, Pittsburgh's right here, strong Democratic stronghold. But as you move up, where the president's rally was in Butler is up here to the north of that as you go up. As you move up here, there are voters who are available to you. 59% to 39% there. If you go back to 2016, you come back there, 56%. You might say 59, 56. That's close. Doesn't matter. It matters a lot. It matters a lot. The third-party candidates, again, we're talking about Trump, Biden, Vance, Kamala Harris tonight, but the third-party candidates matter as well. The issue is you have places like that. Will we see? My question is, do we see J.D. Vance over in places like this? Bucks County, the more blue-collar, the more competitive of the Philadelphia collar counties, maybe plays there. Some blue-collar people here. As you move into Montgomery County and you come down here into Chester County and you move over here to Delaware County, that's where Donald Trump's kryptonite. The American suburbs is Donald Trump's kryptonite. And does J.D. Vance help there? His record on abortion, his record on other issues. There's nothing on paper today that says J.D. Vance will help you here. But Western Pennsylvania, then you come across again, Michigan. The Teamsters president was here tonight. Joe Biden has trouble with some auto workers. There are places in Michigan. Notice Donald Trump came into the hall tonight before a gentleman from Western Michigan spoke. The Trump people timed his entrance for a reason, because they know where this race will be won or lost. So can he help here? Can he help here? Well, remember, he's from here in Ohio, a reliably red state here. And if you remember back on the night of 2016, Jake, the first clue that Donald Trump was going to have a good night was when the votes started coming in northern Kentucky, right along the Ohio border. And yes, you knew Donald Trump was going to win Kentucky. It's a red state, but the turnout was coming through the roof. That's when we first started seeing, because if that happened there, then would it happen here? And there's communities just like that here in Pennsylvania, and there's also communities just like that to the west in Michigan and Wisconsin. Turnout matters. Can J.D. Vance get more white Trump voters, maybe disillusioned with both candidates? A lot of voters out there who don't like either of these major party nominees for president. One of the things that gets forgotten sometimes is, look at that, 62 million votes, right? 63 if you round up million votes for Donald Trump in 2016. He got a lot more votes in 2020. He still lost because Joe Biden and the Democrats turned out so many more voters. President Biden has an enthusiasm problem right now. If J.D. Vance can help Donald Trump turn out every MAGA Republican, every maybe non-Trump Republican, but by DNA Republican who can't vote for Biden, that number might be enough this time. If you can match that number or turn it up a little bit, it might be enough if the third-party candidates are more of a factor in 2024. They were not a factor in 2020. And if Biden loses just a little bit in black turnout, a little bit in Latino turnout, a little bit in the suburbs. So that's J.D. Vance's thing. Try to get Trump back to the 2016 model of where he did well, but with the 2020 numbers. Bring them out.
So let's turn to something that I think